Hi, I'm Brad Hodge from La Trobe, and I just wanted to tell you a little bit about this course. You are neighbourhood house coordinators, networkers, the people who are actually going to be using this course to work with your staff. So I just wanted to give you a bit of a quick overview as to why we've created it, how we've created it, and how I would hope that you'll end up using it. At the end of the day, this is actually a course for you to use with your staff, for you to teach your staff and volunteers. This is not a course necessarily, you will do it on the way through, but this is not a course that's designed to teach you things, though we do hope that you get something out of it, but it's really designed for you to work with your staff and volunteers. So the reason we created this course, and I've worked with staff at La Trobe University and others to develop this course, the reason we created it, it came out of a series of interviews that we did right at the beginning of COVID. And we spoke to neighbourhood house coordinators about their response to COVID and the challenges that they face, and the challenges that they face generally. And one of the things that came through was the need for upskilling and working with their staff and volunteers to build their capacity. Neighbourhood houses do some incredible work, but we rely on our volunteers to do that work. And so there was this kind of general call for something like this to be able to develop capacity in our volunteers. And so what we've done is we've designed a course that's very much for you to run. So this isn't a course where I'm going to work with your people all the time. You guys are on the ground. You know exactly what they need. You have relationships. And I would argue that the work that we've done in creating this course is just a tiny fragment of what is going to occur. It's just there to assist you. This will be building on your relationships with people in your community. So what we would expect is that you will gather a group of people, and I would recommend having no more than, say, 6 people in the group, because this group are going to work together to actually do this work. And the bigger the group is, the messier it gets. You've probably been involved in this kind of thing before. Really big groups are a bit of a nightmare. Okay, so keep it fairly small, anywhere from kind of 3 people to 6 or 7 people at the absolute max. And you can choose a timeline for yourself. Now, in the back of my mind, as I developed this course, I was thinking that people would probably get together every 2 weeks, and they would get through one of the 6 modules every 2 weeks, so that over a 12-week period, you're actually going from the beginning to the end and seeing some outcomes. Now, I think every 2 weeks is generally manageable, but also it will enable you to keep the momentum going. You know that if you only have a meeting every 6 months, then people forget that it's happening, whereas every 2 weeks can work quite nicely. You could easily do this in a much shorter period of time, but people need to be able to get the work of the course done. So get people together on a regular basis. And I would recommend, someone made the comment to me the other day that at our neighbourhood house, we're wanting to do things exciting in the future, but we're tired. Okay, and I'd like to acknowledge that many of you have been working really, really hard over the last 12 months, and that messiness still hasn't gone. So what I would be doing, I would be recommending is that you carve out some coffee and cake budget, to be honest, and that you get together with your group of people, the people that you want to work with, the people that you want to give a little gift in terms of upskilling, and you get together over coffee and cake every 2 weeks to talk through some of the ideas that this course brings up. Now, the basic design of the course is designed so that people do the work at home on their own, and then they come back together and talk about some things together. So you'll need to be a little bit ahead. The actual material of the course is not particularly long. I think there's about 3 hours of material in total, so it won't actually take you very long. But as the leader of the group, or someone who's kind of initiating this, I would recommend that you stay a module or 2 ahead so that you can plan out how you're going to engage with it. Some of these modules, people will do, say a survey about personality or character strengths, and then they'll go and talk to a friend. And that's really beneficial, because then people are actually going outside of your group to do this work. So just think about how you want to make this flow. Now, I do have some communities that are saying, hey, we're going to put it on a projector and we're going to work through it as a group, and that's great. But just think about, okay, how can we approach these learning materials so that people actually have the opportunity to go out to their community, to their groups of people, and ask them questions and talk about what's going on. We don't want this to become really insular. So you can do it where the work happens when you're apart from one another as kind of homework, or together as a group. It's up to you, but you'll always come back together to work on the project, particularly as you get past the first module. The first module is very much about, understanding yourself. You'll be coming together all the time, and so that's a really important component. Now, one of the really, really important parts of this isn't just an intellectual exercise of learning some things. We actually believe, and certainly in the designing of this, that we learn the most when we're doing. We learn the most when we're actually engaging in this kind of work. And that can be uncomfortable. Sometimes it's nice just listening to something and going, oh, that's a fantastic idea. We've all listened to a podcast and thought, yep, I'm going to implement that another day, and then it never happened. Okay, so it's really important that you don't just kind of rush through the material and enjoy it. It's important that you make a point of doing all of the activities on the way. By the end of this project, not only will you have trialed an idea, but you will have evaluated it, and you would have made a bit of a plan for how you're going to use that idea, or maybe not, how you're going to use that idea into the future. And it's important that that work happens, otherwise this course doesn't achieve very much. Really, it might be fun on the way through, and the coffee and the cake might be great, but unless you're doing, the skills aren't going to develop. So I would really encourage you to gather a group of people who you want to work with. Look, sometimes it's a good idea to get people that you don't want to work with, but if you're feeling tired, it's probably not a good idea. Gather them together and see what you can come up with. This course is really designed just to give you a little extra assistance in working with your volunteers to do the work that you already do. We're doing this because we absolutely believe in the work that you're doing, and we want to provide the support that we can. Now, feel free to get in touch with me. You're more than welcome to email me. We've also got the Facebook group set up, so you're more than welcome to pop on there and ask questions. We'd love to hear what you're doing and how you go with it, and about the projects that you get going in your community. We look forward to you getting started and to continuing to make the change in your community that you've been making for some time. Thanks.